Hey guys and girls, it's Nathan here from the B.Invested headquarters, and today I want to talk a little bit about 5 things to think about before selling your investment property. Starting with number 1, why are you selling the property? I see a lot of people out there and they sort of don't really have the best strategy or plan in place. They buy properties willy-nilly, they sit there and they speculate in certain markets. They might be watching the media, they might be getting fearful and selling off, and in some circumstances it could be a good thing to offload a property because you could have bought at a peak, or you might have something that may not be worth what it is. So it's important to question, is now a good time to sell? And why am I selling it? The second question to be asking yourself when selling an investment property is, what am I going to do with A, the proceeds of the property, and B, the new loan serviceability by drawing back that loan? What is the plan? I see a lot of people out there and they might go and sell the investment property they've got, and afterwards they go on a holiday, they go and spend that money, it just goes nowhere, and they sit back and look at their position and they don't have assets in their hands. And more than ever in any sort of marketplace, I think now it's important to understand that assets, physical assets over money, are important, because we're at a point where the monetary system is changing. Money is becoming more and more worthless because there's just being more and more printed, and hence why prices are rising out there. So is it should I be selling it or should I be keeping it? What am I going to be doing with it? What is the opportunity cost that's going to be associated with selling this property off? Number 3, when you sell that property, are you going to be able to buy more assets? So in this changing marketplace, obviously finance is becoming a lot harder to get a hold of. And I think a lot of people are out there just thinking, oh, okay, I can sell that property, I'll go buy another property. But what a lot of people are forgetting is that if you sell off your properties, you may not be able to rebuild your property portfolio to the position of where it is today. For example, people ask me, Nathan, why don't you sell your properties? And I turn around and say, well, I like my properties. They're doing quite fine. They're doing what they need to be doing. And I have a plan and a strategy that's there where each property is doing a specific task in helping me get to a greater day in my own life, whether it be from a growth perspective, a cash flow perspective, and I've got fundamentals as to why that property or those properties are there. The other element to it is that I know personally that sometime in the next coming years, we will see a bit of volatility out there, but I'm not complaining because I've just seen 10 years of positive growth on a large chunk of my property portfolio. But I know that we're going to see further growth in the future, and like all cycles before where we are, this one's a little bit different because we've got a tightening of liquidity globally happening out there. What I realise personally is that I will not be able to go and get all those loans like I had beforehand. So I want to take assets through a market cycle, and I want to make sure that I've got the most amount of assets to take through to see them grow, expand, and my net worth position to grow. So for me, if I was to sell off properties, I wouldn't be able to get my position back in the current market in order for me to see that growth. For example, between 2003 and 2008, I was aggressively buying properties when no one wanted to buy properties out there. I picked up bargains, took advantage of the situation, and moving into the market cycle from about 2009, 2010, 2011, I saw my property portfolio double sort of overnight, and if I didn't do those hard tasks beforehand by building that portfolio, I wouldn't be sitting here talking about how successful my property portfolio is. So it's just important to remember that. Another factor for number 4 is to consider tax, because by selling an asset, most likely if you're making money on it, you're going to be making a substantial sort of tax gain, and you've got to look at tax. Like, is it worthwhile selling that property off, or is it more viable to take that property's equity out and use that in order to go and purchase subsequent properties or do whatever you wanted to do with those funds? Because in and out costs to a property are expensive. You've got stamp duty, real estate agent fees, associated costs with doing the transaction. Is that going to be worthwhile doing that, or is it better to hold the asset position and take through the market cycle? Fifth one it's important to remember that the cash flow perspective, and I think a lot of people out there, buy properties, invest in things, whatever, without fully understanding where the cash flow positions are. Is your cash flow position going to be better off or worse off by selling or disposing of the asset? And is it something you need to be doing? Is it something you should be doing? Is it something that isn't going to have a really big effect on your position? Because you've got to remember, property is a long game. Property and a strategy, having a sound strategy behind it, that's where your wealth is created. It's not created from just buying one property and making 50 grand or buying one property and making 500 grand. It's important with that strategy, because if you were to have $500,000 today profit from a property, are you going to be using that to its best position, and the opportunity cost to turn that into a greater wealth position for yourself and your family? So if you need any help with working out that strategy, feel free to call my office, 1300 367 925, or email us at admin@binvested.com.au. If you are thinking of selling a property and you do want to get some independent feedback on that front, check out my website, getthemax.com.au. That's GETTHEMAX.com.au, where I help people that are thinking of disposing their properties, achieve the max when they do. So we'll catch up soon. Have an awesome day, guys. Be very careful with the decisions you make, and make sure you're doing the right decisions to improve your position and your family's position. Bye for now.